everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Content Karate. So we are a marketing show who interviews amazing content people who are focusing on repurposing the content they're creating to drive traffic, to generate leads, and to really increase revenue through their business in strategic ways. So my name is Sarah Gaius. I'm the Director of Operations here at Repurpose House. Today, I am so thrilled to be sitting with Bobby Tsui, the founder and CEO of the Same Circle Method, where he helps interior designers specifically and creatives develop influential positioning in their markets so that they can grow their business profitably while staying in their genius zones. So Bobby, thank you so much for taking the time today. We're thrilled to have you on.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.
Yes, absolutely. So I would love to just start by learning more about the Same Circle Method in kind of your own words and a lot of the content that you're creating to make sure you're getting in front of this specific niche audience.
Sure. Well, the Same Circle Method is really a methodology and philosophy that's predicated on forming the right circle of prospective clients that actually allow you to flex your muscles and let you to take the reins on a design project. And that's a far departure from, let's just go with the vanity metric of gaining a lot of followers on social media. And then you find out at the end of that rainbow, when you're doing it for so long, you find out that your prospective clients just aren't online. And that's what you tell yourself. And you tell yourself, okay, let's just go back to word of mouth and referrals. And by the way, my clients aren't online. And so that's just basically what I've been hearing a lot. And the Same Circle Method is basically the one who's slaying that monster and saying, look, there is a better way to find your prospective clients with a particular focus. And so a lot of my content that I put out online is largely to meet them where they're at, to honor what they're doing currently in marketing, because I don't want to necessarily convolute the strategies that I teach.
Right.
Some of them can be a little too high techie, and some of them can be a little too advanced. But I definitely just want to honor people where they're at and then say, well, there is a slight adjustment that you can make here, and here's what that is. And that's what I like to do in my content.
Yeah, and that's great. You're spending that time kind of debunking that stuck mindset that they might have, adapted. So a lot of your content is that educational side of showing them the XYZ steps that they can take to kind of overcome that challenge. So what types of content would you say you're creating that really help perform best for you and sinking in for them and for them to be able to absorb that and for them to learn?
I would say videos are great pieces of content, whether they're showing my face or just showing some slides. I think visuals are always performing really well. And but I favor just being able to turn on the camera and just talk, and doing it structurally. So that at least when I'm creatively thinking outside the box, I don't go off on a tangent for 10 minutes. But, I just love putting out that kind of content, and it helps me just connect with people on an emotional and human level.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially getting to see that face, getting to know that familiarity of who is Bobby, what is he representing and teaching and coaching me.
Yeah.
So kind of speaking of those specific content pieces, have you created one that's kind of outperformed all of the others, one that's been your highest performing piece of content, whether it's been video or something else?
I can't really pinpoint one particular kind of piece of content, but I will say that long form content always performs really well for me.
That's great.
When I'm telling a story, sharing some kind of vulnerability, and just providing my insights on that piece, because having the gift of hindsight 2020, I can relay that back to the audience that I'm talking to and say, hey, look, you might be going through this as well. And I think that really helps the audience relate to me. And I always love turning like a long form piece of content into, other pieces of content in other different mediums, but it would always typically start there. And I'd probably go with that one.
Yeah, that's great. So, in terms of creating that long form content, do you follow like a specific process? Because it sounds like you take a really interesting approach that not everybody does, because you're pinpointing and talking about struggles, it sounds like too, and just not showcasing, all the positives, all the wins, but like, hey, this might be a hurdle. Here's how you can approach it. Here's what I've done, and I'm human and I've been through it too. Do you have any type of process, or is it kind of just dependent on what's going on?
Yeah, I definitely do have a process that I follow myself, and I also teach my clients as well. And I always tell them to think about it in terms of a problem that they're solving on a project that they're doing, or maybe an objection that they have received from a prospective client, and just expanding on it, because everybody tells stories in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And we can always provide structure and frameworks to follow, but I think at the end of the day, if you're just telling your story honestly, then however it comes out on paper is, it's going to be received well. But just make sure that you are able to derive a really meaningful, derive really good meaning from it. And being sure to come from a place of, yeah, I understand what that was or what I went through, and now I'm able to provide it as a gift to someone else, because
Yeah,
you don't want to be stuck in limbo, deriving meaning, right? Because
right.
your audience is going to be left
Yeah,
on.
no, that's great. Learn from people who have already been through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you say like long form content, does it usually average a certain length, or does it vary for you?
It does vary. I mean, it's just however it feels to me naturally.
Yeah.
I try to like have a sensible metric between maybe 300 to 500 words. Unless I'm writing like a blog post, which I haven't done for years. Because whenever I'm writing a blog post, I always tend to write 750 to 1500 words or more,
Yeah, wow.
just to appeal to the search engines.
Right, right.
But
Yeah.
I find that like for social posts, I mean, they're like mini blog posts, and I think 300 to 500, that's like a sweet spot.
Oh, nice. So you're talking about for the actual status copy that you're writing for your social posts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is pretty good. So one thing you were saying too is you like to be able to kind of take that long form content and turn it into other pieces. When you do that and it's being repurposed, like where are you sharing it? Like what type of platforms do you post on to make sure it's getting in front of your demographic?
I share it on my Facebook personal profile page. I share it on a Facebook story.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I'll, verbalize it after writing it. I'll verbalize it on a story, or sometimes I'll just create some real quick slides with the Unfold app, and get some like stock photography where I pull from Unsplash, for example, and then I just basically re-narrate that with like
Mm-hmm.
6 to 10 slides. And then I post that as a story on Instagram. Um, I also post in my Facebook group and my IG feed, and IGTV is also one that I've recently been delving into more of,
Yay.
because of Repurpose House. But
That's
yeah,
good.
um, I think those are all the main platforms that I stay on. I try to get really good at one or two and not
Yeah.
try to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, so for like focusing on those one or two, have you found that one of the platforms kind of outperforms over another for you based on engagement and like the responses, the likes, all of that you're getting from your audience?
I would say Facebook right now, but only because I've put a lot more intention behind Facebook, and I'm currently growing Instagram. but I'm looking to have Facebook and Instagram meet each other. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So will you tell me more about your Facebook group? Because I know you've got like, I think I saw over 900 people in your Facebook group, which is a really great number. Is that like a big lead gen tool for you? Is that clients? What does that kind of structure look like for you?
Facebook group is a place for me to build community in a safe space.
Mhm.
So I will, for example, on every Tuesday, I will do a series called Fix My Niche Tuesdays. And it's just an audit that I do over Facebook Live. And I have designers fill out this form. They'll give me all their social profile links. And then I'll go on this Facebook Live and I'll audit their profiles and audit their online presence from my perspective. And it's a safe space for them to, you know, have someone, a third party, a third eye, not a third eye, second eye,
Yeah.
second pair of eyes, to look at and give feedback without it being blown all over the place.
Yeah,
Facebook group's really good for that.
that's really, really smart. So what are some ways that you kind of keep the engagement high in your Facebook group? Because that's one thing that a lot of people, even we have struggled with, is once you have this awesome group, the great community, sometimes it's the host that's posting the most or the host that's kind of contributing the most. What
Mm-hmm.
strategies do you have to make sure that other people feel like they can include comments or post type of content for others to see?
Um, that's a good question. That's a good question. I think I'm still in the middle of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just try to provide as much value as possible,
Hmm.
and and um, I definitely want to have a community that is feeling seen and being heard, and feeling like it's okay to volunteer their comments and helping others and all that stuff. I think one of the things that has helped me um, uh, really inspire more community involvement is running a challenge, and that has increased engagement for the group. I ran a challenge called a 5-day design influencer challenge. And basically for 5 days, I went on the live and then provided trainings and resources, all with the goal of, becoming a design influencer on social media.
That's really smart. And was that a like complimentary challenge or was it gated? Like were people able to join it for free to participate?
It was gated as a free opt-in.
Okay, okay, nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's really smart. I think the idea too of the weekly audits that you're doing is great because that kind of forces people to engage with you because it's their very specific content and something that's extremely personal because
Mm-hmm.
you're opening that door to be able to give that constructive feedback based on kind of what they have currently set up. So
Yeah.
that's great. Just kind of out of curiosity, have you always been niched in interior design or did Same Circle Method start broader? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. The same circle method is relatively new. It's about a year or two old.
Mhm.
Um, and before that, I ran an agency that served the built environment for about 6 years or so.
Mhm.
And the built environment is basically the industry of architecture firms, interior design firms, remodeling, design build, on the predominantly residential, a little bit of commercial spaces. And
Mhm.
so my agency just has been working with them for a long, long time. And the Same Circle Method was born out of just pure desire to serve designers on a deeper level because of what
Mhm.
I had seen through the agency, and it just felt lighter to do so. And
Yeah.
and then one other thing is that way before I started the agency, I had been fired from a commercial design firm because I was heading up marketing and I couldn't figure out how to generate leads and how to uh,
Oh, yeah.
find clients for the firm. And this was at a time when, social media was still relatively new. Like, what is WordPress? Like people
Yeah.
were barely getting on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Um, so that was, a time when I said, well, if I don't figure it out now, that's fine. But eventually I'm going to figure this out. And I think that's what kind of triggered me to start the agency. And then, and here I am.
Yeah, because you knew from personal experience this was a pain point in your previous position that industry was facing. So it's really cool to hear what that stemmed from and how you've grown it. Congrats on, I think you said you're 2 years into it now? 2 years? Congrats, that's awesome.
Thank you.
So before we kind of wrap up, I would love to know, like, what's one of your biggest pieces of advice that you can give in general for content marketing, something that you really believe in that you'd want to pass on to anyone listening in today?
Did you say one piece or two or some?
It can be as many as you want. Whatever you feel really strongly about.
Okay, because I always catch myself in a loop if I don't have an accurate number. So I think one of the biggest things is definitely having ownership in your attributes that make you uniquely you, and sharing the narrative around that as much as you can to stand out in your content. Otherwise, you're not operating from first principles thinking, because you're just Me Too marketer who's doing what everybody else is doing. And even if you follow all the right tactics, like, yes, I need to write long form copy, I need to do this or do that, your essence isn't going to be there, and it's going to fall flat. So I think that would be the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think that's great. And that there's a lot of work that goes into it. People have to really identify themselves, their brand, how it is that they want to communicate, what makes them different, figuring out what that is so they know how to highlight it too. So that's a big task, but I agree that it's completely important in order to really hone it. And that's what people love too when they're absorbing content, that unique personality, really understanding what's going to make you stand out. That's what's going to make them want to follow you and continue to learn from you as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so for everyone who, whether they're listening, watching right now, where would you like them to go to learn more about you and the Same Circle method, if you have a couple URLs or anything that you'd want them to follow?
I would say add me as a friend. Find me on Facebook and just add me as a friend. I would love to just connect with you on Facebook, on the personal page. And then if you would like to join a community of interior designers who are growing their design businesses with social media, then I invite you to join my free Facebook group. It's called Social Media and Video Marketing for Interior Designers. It's a very broad name, but those are the two places.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Bobby. I'm so glad that we got to do this. And for everyone tuning in right now, if you got awesome value from this like I did, please be sure to share this with your friends and feel free to check out contentkarate.com. Again, this is audio and visual available, so you can see at that URL kind of where you can watch it or just tune in on Spotify, all of your favorite platforms. And thanks so much again, Bobby. It's been awesome having you on.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Sarah. It was fun.
Awesome. Thank you.